Welcome to So You Think That Was Good, Do You? A podcast where we take a look back at the films from your childhood and question the absurdity of their universes. My name is Evan, and as always, I am joined by Johnny, and we're also joined by Harry this week. I've already fucked it. How are you doing, boys?
Keep it in.
I've got to now, haven't I? Because I did the
Some
same thing last
motherfuckers are
week.
always trying to ice skate uphill.
That's a good reference, mate.
Thank you.
Oh, you boys good?
Yeah, mate, I'm wicked. Fucking jacked. I'm so buzzed for this. It was when we said that we were gonna do it. I've been looking forward to watching it, and yeah, I'm not gonna spoil my thoughts just yet, but it was definitely a watch, and I definitely watched it.
That's
How are
good,
you
isn't
good?
it? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not that excited.
It's nice to have the full spectrum here. Well, this week we watched Blade 1998, starring Wesley Snipes, some other people, and Chris Christopherson. Whoa, you're right, Johnny, this was a watch. I was also looking forward to it, but I don't think I was quite prepared for how much Blade we were gonna get.
2 hours of Blade.
Well, time-wise, we were just saying before pre-pod, that every time I took notes, I would pause it, and only 1 minute had passed. And it felt like an eternity. Although, it
Got
wasn't.
159 left of these, mate.
Yeah.
That's not how many minutes there are in 2 hours.
Nearly.
Got 119 left of these, mate. I'd never seen Blade.
What? This is the first time you
Never.
seen
Yeah.
Blade?
I've
In
never seen
fairness,
any of the films you talk about on here. Unless they're pig-based.
I think I've seen the first one the least out of the three. It was like one of my go-tos as an adolescent. But it was I think I watched Trinity probably the most, and then the second
same.
one. Trinity is sick, and Blade 2 is sick. But the first one,
Blade 1,
good
let's not...
jumping
No
off point.
spoilers, Johnny.
it was a jumping off point for sure.
It is certainly the first Blade movie. And let's get into the plot synopsis of this, the first inaugural Blade movie. A half-mortal, half-immortal is out to avenge his mother's death and rid the world of vampires. The modern-day technologically advanced vampires he is going after are in search of his special blood type needed to summon an evil god who plays a key role in their plan to execute the human race. I did not read that weird. There is not a single iota of punctuation in that second paragraph. Whoever wrote that was on coke.
You did say technologically.
Technologically. How do you say that?
Technologically.
Technologically, oh my god. That needs some punctuation in that word.
Let's break this up. Chuck a hyphen in.
Technologically. Oh lord. Oh, why do I do myself? Oh,
Why do you do yourself?
I don't know. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know why I do myself either. God damn it.
Why?
Right, well, I can't even remember what that plot synopsis was, and we're just going to skip over it. When you listen to that, just know it was bad. Oh, well, let's begin the movie. As I always do at the beginning of the movie. It's 1967. A woman is rushed into the hospital with a horrible neck wound. She's also pregnant, and she is giving birth to the baby as she is also dying. We're to assume that she does die. The baby is Blade. The movie does not tell us how far we jump ahead. We go from 1967 till now, whenever that is.
Timeless.
And-
98.
Well, presumably. And now we cut to a woman taking just a very horny man to a club beneath a meat factory. Why that's not a red flag to this dude, I don't know, but he goes down there. There's a sick opening. This is such a good opening scene to this movie. It's iconic. The song playing is amazing.
Yeah, boy. A bit of fucking hardcore techno going on. The DJ spinning it is called Bad Boy Bill. Uncredited, but I found it. A lot of searching. I was like, I bet that's someone good because he's wearing like the lights on his glasses, like Orbital do. But I thought maybe that's one of the guys from Orbital. No, it's Bad Boy Bill.
Is he still going?
I've no idea. I've never fucking heard of him.
Well, I hope you're still doing bits, Bad Boy Bill. The song is UT1 Dot by Polygon Window, or one is the song and one is the artist.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there you go, you can Google that. This guy thinks he's in for a really good fucking time. Like, everyone looks minced. But they're all giving him like the cold eyes and they're pushing him about. He's clearly not welcome here. He's like a fucking human pinball in this room. Everybody's just pushing him to someone else and going.
I'm not gonna lie though, I've been to a club not with the vampires, but a club similar to that in vibe in Berlin, and I was nearly as distressed. It was about 4 in the morning. About 4 in the morning because they don't open until like 1. And I was so fucking tired, and it was just strobe lights and smoke and lots of people like rhythmically fucking rocking like zombies. It was a vibe, but yeah, no
It
blood.
sounds horrible. I don't think the blood would have made it worse, Ben. Well, blood starts raining from the sprinklers. Everybody starts showing their vampire teeth and proper hissing at this guy. He's pushed to the floor. They just start beating on him for no reason. Nobody takes a bite. They're just kicking the shit out of him for being human and being here.
Before this, though, blood drips onto his hand.
Yeah.
His first reaction is to lick it.
I was gonna say, well, the worst case scenario there, blood. Best case scenario, a leaky pipe in a meat factory.
Yeah. It's coming from the sprinklers. The water that is in sprinklers sits there for years.
Yeah.
Blood's probably the best case scenario.
Yeah. At least it's fresh. It's not coagulated, I suppose. The poor guy, bless him. He thought he was just going to get lucky and go to a techno rave.
You know, she ditches him straight away. It's actually quite sad.
Yeah. I was like, this poor dude.
We do get shots of a guy getting noshed off.
Oh, we
the
do.
pub.
Yeah, that's Quinn.
That's Quinn. Yeah.
Not the normal type of sucking you'd associate with vampires, am I right?
Nice, got him.
Well, this is where Blade makes his sick and iconic entrance into the club. Everybody looks at him. Everybody knows who he is because he's been killing vampires, presumably forever.
Since 1967, at least.
Yeah.
As a baby.
Until now. There's a showdown between Blade and Quinn, the guy who was just getting noshed off, and his henchmen. They all have guns, but for some reason they decide to go hand to hand with him, even though he has a sword. So obviously he kills them all.
And he's Blade.
Yeah, he's Blade. And he looks like that.
No one's under false pretenses on who this man is. You hear them whispering, saying, "It's Blade, it's him, it's the Daywalker." And they're like, nah, fuck it, I can take him.
If it wasn't Blade and a guy walked into a packed room in a black leather trench coat, all black, glasses on,
Yeah.
you'd leave anyway.
Well,
You're
yeah,
not
you
gonna
think
fight
it was
him.
a shooter.
That place is about to get fucked up.
No
Although it
one
wouldn't be a
dresses
club.
like that.
It'd be a school, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no one dresses like that unless they fucking mean business.
No, because it's not a good look. So
No.
you've got to be really bold to put it on.
Yeah, just quickly, I'd like to... I know we're going back a bit, but when the blood all sprays, all the people in the club are now covered in blood. Blade aside, if they were just having their normal rave day, what happens at the end of the night when they're all just covered in blood? They have to go home covered in blood.
They lick it up, mate.
But do they bring a spare change of clothes? Have they got a cloakroom?
They've all got to groom each other like cats before they can leave.
Yeah, it's just like the equivalent of us being sprayed with food, like milk or something.
Well, this is why the Vampire Council later on are angry, because
Yeah,
Deacon is not like subtle at all.
No.
He's inviting all the vampires in. I think this is New York?
no, it's New Orleans.
New Orleans.
It's
okay.
It's not objective. It's not said in the thing, but later on, she holds out a map of New Orleans.
Okay, right. Okay, so still a packed place. All the vampires are there.
Yeah.
It isn't very discreet. I suppose it's below a meat factory, but that's somewhere where you wouldn't usually get a lot of foot traffic, so it is going to draw
And also,
eyes.
not if you're going to work dressed in rave gear, you're probably dressed inappropriately.
Everybody's got to come in a white coat and then take it off when they get inside.
One of those
Bring
little
your own white
butcher's
coat.
hats.
Hair in a fucking net.
Oh,
That's how they leave. They just put on their butcher clothes.
Nothing to see here.
Just 300 butchers. Oh, we've just put in a hard shift chopping up this cow.
Yeah.
just the one cow, actually. Well, Blade fucks everybody up. He's killing vampires left and right. It's sick, but it's aged a bit, the CGI in this. The skeleton
Yeah.
sort of things that the vampires become when they're killed.
I
do not
didn't
look
think
as good
that
as they-
looked so bad comparative to the later parts of the film. I thought
Yep.
for 1998, although The Matrix came out the next year, and that gives you a bit of like something to aim for, but they developed new fucking software for that, so that's like a different league. But I think it wasn't horrible in these short bits. It's when it was prolonged, like
The blood stuff later.
yeah, the blood stuff
yeah,
later,
yeah.
like it
Awful.
really looked terrible. But I thought the bits where they were like being vaporized into ash or whatever, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, for a 25-year-old film, I wasn't impressed, but it was fine.
Well, Blade now, he's also beat up Quinn, who's like a sort of semi-antagonist throughout all of this. And he sets him on fire for a change, because he usually just chops a bit off. But he doesn't kill him. Like, the
No.
police arrive, and Blade sort of just fucks off and leaves a crispy Quinn on
Crispy
the floor.
boy.
Yeah.
I did think that Wesley Snipes, he was picked mainly for this role. It was between him, Denzel, and someone else, but the director really wanted him. But he's apparently he trained in martial arts since he was like 12. He's like 5th Dan black belt in karate, and he does capoeira and fucking kung fu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So all of like the martial arts stuff, I'd like to think is actually pretty good. But he's like a big lover of like the Hong Kong kung fu film like scene, like all of that kind of shit. So I think he took a lot of that sort of fighting style and put it into this film, and you can actually see it. I don't know if you've watched many of them.
No.
But yeah, it's very, very reminiscent of that sort of fighting style. I thought it looked fucking sick. The fight choreography in this was amazing.
Excellent. Even that final showdown between him and Deacon.
Yeah,
Is
could have been awful, but it was
Really exciting.
cool.
Yeah.
So when the police turn up, to a now dead rave, they were so like unbothered by what they walked in on.
All the blood.
Yeah, all the blood.
everywhere.
There's a guy on fire. He just really casually says, "Oh, put him out, would you?"
Also, the dude who was gonna get eaten just sat on the floor like crying. He now has to explain to the police what happened here, as if they're gonna fucking believe him. That man's getting sent straight to a psych ward.
Well, in the vampire universe, that's probably the best place for him.
Yeah. He knows
And
that.
also, that guy is the only one that Blade checks the neck of before
Yeah.
just not killing him instantly. So it's lucky for him. He's already had a bad night.
Well, to be fair, everyone else was like, I'm going to fucking rip your head off, and then he just kicks him in the face. So it's...
This is the only guy that didn't know me. He must be human. Well, like you said, Quinn, Crispy Boy, is taken to the morgue. He's not finished off by Blade. They sort of do like an analysis on his body. Karen, who works there, she's about to become one of the main characters. She's a hematologist.
Yeah.
So she's like, she takes a look at the blood. It's a bit weird. They start to perform an autopsy on the body, but whilst they're doing that, Quinn comes back to life, immediately fucks up the guy who's working with Karen. It's really brutal.
Yeah.
And she get away. He does bite her, didn't he? Yes, obviously. Because
He bites
that's all the things of the movie.
She does not react at all to this charred corpse sitting up.
Not enough, no.
No. As far as they're concerned, this is a dead man.
Yeah, and she's so nonplussed by it. No, that's not the right word.
No, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, she's so nonplussed by it. She just sort of looks at him.
Hang on, this isn't right. You're meant to be dead, mate.
Not
just
even
lying
that
down.
much of a reaction. No, she just like... It's like your co-worker's telling you a story and you have to go, yeah. She does... yeah, the corpse is sat up.
When it all like spills out into the corridor, apparently Quinn fell over during filming, and he fell face first onto the hard floor and completely dislodged his jaw.
We've all been there, haven't we?
He'd broken it, like apparently he'd broken it in an accident years like prior, and like opening his mouth too wide can just unhinge it. But so when they were filming in this hospital, they had to rush to a real hospital, saying there's a guy dressed as a 3rd-degree burn victim, essentially naked, running with his jaw hanging down. Don't worry, it's just the jaw.
Horrible.
Imagine that, working in the fucking A&E that day. You're like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Someone's bringing out a vat of pseudo-creme.
Yeah.
No, we don't need that.
I bet the fucking A&E department cleared out pretty rapid. They were like, he goes first, don't worry.
You know what? I can wait to have this broken arm seen too. That's fine.
He needs it more.
Well, Blade does show up now to finish off Quinn. Quite right, since he did a terrible fucking job of it at the club. But 2 security guards show up, and instead of shooting at this monstrosity wriggling about in the hallway biting people, they shoot at Blade. And he says, "Motherfucker, you out of your damn mind?"
They just dash.
So
like,
good.
Fuck this.
Like, the dialogue isn't good in the sense of, like, people talking to each other being good, but just the one-liners Blade says, I love.
It's so good. Those, like you it's very, I mean, it's a comic book adaptation. I don't know if you read the comics. I did a little bit when I was younger.
Nerd.
And it was very, thank you. It was very reminiscent of that, like that sort of, because it's like an adult comic in many ways.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in it, and you can, they clearly looked at the source material a lot writing the script, but the in-between dialogue is pretty shit. But
and there's a lot of it. Let's get to it. Yeah, so the security guards are shooting at him. He's kind of like pinned between the window and them. He doesn't really know what to do. He does seem to be bulletproof.
His body
a lot
armor
are hitting him. Yeah.
Are they?
Some should be hitting his head, but they're not.
Are they security guards? I thought they were police.
They're hospital security. They have armed police in America.
Everybody's got a gun.
In the hospital.
That's mad.
Yeah, well,
It is mad. But
that's
not
for
as
another
mad
show.
as what Blade is about to do.
At the hospital I work in, hospital security is just like 3 or 4 fat men.
Have you ever had a 3rd-degree burn victim come in with his jaw hanging off?
Not to my department, no.
You work in records, so that would be misplaced.
Well, Blade's solution is to throw a woman who's losing blood rapidly out of the window, across the street, and onto a separate rooftop. Not onto anything other than a top, like that's just covering some barrels.
Yeah.
She obviously dislocates her shoulder. She's lucky just to get away with that. Blade is just doing an awful job at being a hero.
Yeah.
He's not killed anyone he's meant to kill, and he's doing a really poor job of saving someone.
Yeah.
He killed about 400 vampires in the club.
Nameless ones. The first guy that's got a bloody name he can't deal with.
They're just ravers.
400 party goers.
Butchers. 400 butchers.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Well, Blade brings Karen back to Whistler.
Oh no, sorry, Ev. Before this, so they're on the other rooftop.
Yeah.
Crispy Boy, instead of jumping across, just jumps down. He smashes through the lid of an ambulance.
Yeah.
An ambulance leaving the hospital.
With someone in it.
Yeah.
Why? What? Tell me how that happens. Unless she looked like she was in a bad way as well.
She might be getting transferred, to be fair, which makes that a less funny
hospital.
point. But still.
Let's not bring in hospital logistics. Let's point out the funny bits. Yeah.
Well, Blade brings Karen back to Whistler because obviously she's infected. and Whistler has like a sort of quasi-cure that can be administered before the disease spreads too much. And he gives her 50-50 on whether or not she'll make it through the night. But she does.
You know what he injects her with?
Garlic?
Garlic.
A lot of garlic.
A lot of garlic, which, I mean, I guess if that's what kills the vampire illness, like virus or whatever, that kind of makes sense. But introducing pure garlic into the bloodstream can't be good, right?
Oh, I don't know.
That's a lot of
garlic
acidity.
is pretty good.
It is good, but...
We're not making a
surely
pizza here,
then-
mate. It's someone's fucking...
No word of a lie, garlic goes in every single one of my meals.
True.
And I assume it does for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, how many people realistically can really be turned? I am
Imagine
vaccinated.
that. They bite someone who's like a chef who's just been making like loads of garlic bread. Not even a chef, me. And they bite him and die.
There are no vampires in France.
Yeah.
Too many men with garlic round the neck.
Yeah. Surely that's the ultimate deterrent. Just smear yourself in garlic. Sure, you smell weird, but they won't come near you.
Oh, you'd smell great, smell weird.
No. Yeah, garlic in food, yes, but a man who smells of garlic.
Yeah. Tasty. Do you want to come to a club with me?
Let me just rub this clove on myself.
Don't worry, I'm a butcher. Well, now we get... it's a vampire boardroom meeting. That's just what it is. All the head vampires from all the pureblood families, they're all gathering together, basically to shout at Deacon, who owns this nightclub we've been talking about. He's the main bad guy in this movie. For having no discretion. They're all annoyed that he's kind of blowing up vampires, into the public view. When we also learn that the vampires have a sort of secret treaty with humans to just take what they need and sort of stay out of the way. And the pureblood vampires don't want to mess with that sort of status quo.
Which I think, as an idea, is quite cool. That I mean, they say later on that they're integrated into society and stuff, and you'll have seen them without knowing and all this kind of stuff. But if they're fucking everywhere, how many are there? Because I still reckon if the general populace knew that there were vampires, we could just wipe them out.
Yeah, we wouldn't be happy, would we? There'd be more than one blade, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
There are people about now who just want to, gather guns and weapons for the chance that there might be an apocalypse. Yeah. If people knew there was definitely vampires, there would be people hunting every night. The police couldn't do anything.
It'd be like the Grand High, what was it, the Inquisitor, back in the witch times. Is it a vampire? Show me your fangs. Does he sink or swim?
Smear him in garlic. If he doesn't like it, kill him.
If he does
Give him
like
some
it,
of
kill him.
Evan's cooking.
Does he eat this risotto? Will he live? Will he die?
He lived, but he frowned.
I mean, the point is, it's secret, right? It's the politicians know about the vampires, but the public don't. It's like it's like real life with aliens, basically.
Yeah, man. To be fair, have you seen it's a bit of a sidebar, but have you seen the stuff going on in Congress at the moment in the States? It's like the first proper open discussion that they're having in Congress about like high-ranking military officials and senators and stuff like this, giving all this information to the Senate and stuff. It's cool. It's
What about aliens?
It's about, they're not calling them aliens. It's non-human intelligences.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
That's even
very
scarier.
important things being said about UFOs now, where, I mean, hopefully in the next sort of 5 years we might actually have some answers, because something weird's going on.
Oh, I'd just rather be in the dark. I can't deal
Would
with
you?
aliens
Oh,
as
mate,
well.
I'd love
yeah.
to. Mate, if they
there's too
wanted to
much
kill
going
us, they
on
would
as
have done
is.
by now.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean I don't need to know any more stuff.
There's enough in my brain as it is.
Yeah. I can't even figure out not to put garlic in every meal. Just out of muscle memory, I do.
Think
I
about all
can't
the
also
alien herbs.
Think about aliens, yeah. Oh, no. Space garlic? God damn it!
Sorry, bit of a tangent there, but
No, I love it.
happened.
Well, Blade is inspired very much by this conversation because he pops off to like a herbal medicine shop now.
Sorry, Ev. In the meeting, so I've just realised how shit this is.
That's it. Say it.
We're introduced to Deacon. You know how you can tell he's cool?
Frosted tips.
Oh no, I don't think he's got frosted tips.
No, I don't think he does either.
He does gel them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
quite
that's about
cool.
it. Yeah.
Budget Chris Pine, am I right?
Nah, he's got a
not
leather
bad, yeah.
jacket and he smokes.
Yeah.
Cool as
But-
fuck.
Cool guy, like the camel.
Joe
advert.
Camel.
Joe Camel.
Hang on, how did we know he was cool?
Because he's got a leather jacket and he smokes.
Oh, right. Oh. I thought you were going to say because his last name is Frost. I was waiting for the shit
How,
pun.
you know how we know he's cool, yeah?
How, Harry? How?
His last name's Frost.
Excellent. Blade goes to a herbal medicine shop. The only reason, well, he's going to pick up his serum because he takes his serum so he doesn't want to drink blood.
Yeah.
It sort of stops that hunger. But he's just shot up a nightclub where he was maybe seen. He's just been to a hospital where he was definitely seen.
Yep.
He's wearing the exact same outfit that he wears the entirety of the movie, and it's broad daylight on clearly like just a high street.
not
People are walking past. People know who this guy
Yeah,
is.
he's not exactly undercover, is he?
No.
He's dressed as himself.
He's dressed as a
He's a
cool
guy.
guy in a leather jacket.
Yeah, yeah.
No one else is
Joe
dressed
Camel.
like that. He'd catch the eye.
Yeah, he's definitely not incognito at the moment, is he? He's not being a
Never.
sneaky boy. But they say that he's building up a resistance to the serum at this point, which is
Yes.
a plot point that comes back in later. It's important for later. Stay tuned, listeners.
Please stay tuned.
Yeah, for the
I
love
don't know
of
what
God.
this is going to sound like so far, but please, there's something here. Well, now we're back over at their sort of base, their makeshift base, which isn't a garage, that Whistler just probably owned. Oh, I'm going to get to that later. Karen wakes up after being administered this medicine, and she's eavesdropping on Blade and Whistler as Blade is being given the serum to stop him wanting to drink blood. The reason I wanted to note this scene is because after they just explained that he needs the serum, Whistler fills up his car in front of everyone while he's talking, but he pours petrol all over the back of the car and slots it in, and then he lights a cigarette.
Yeah. And he
don't give a
also
shit,
wears a
man.
leather jacket because he's cool. But while he's talking to Blade,
How can they keep getting away with this?
he says he's done a background check on Karen, right?
Sure, yeah.
He lives in a fucking garage. How has he done this?
I don't know how he does anything. He doesn't really have any skills. The movie just implies that he's the tech guy, he knows languages,
Right.
but he's just a biker
Yeah.
with a shotgun.
The film
A cool
implies
biker.
this. In the
He's very cool.
in the comics, he's like comes from a long line of vampire hunters, apparently. But in this, there's later on they say about the story of why he's in it. But in the comics, he's like comes from a long line of vampire hunters.
Yeah, and this vampire's killed his family.
Yeah.
He wants revenge on all vampires.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, pretty simple stuff.
He's a racist.
Yeah.
He's racist
Basically,
against
yeah.
vampires. He's like the vampire Liam Neeson.
Every night he goes out with his kosh.
Just in case there's one around.
I don't care which one it is.
Kosh is
There's,
a funny word, isn't it?
It is.
That's the only reason I remember it.
Sounds like a racial slur.
Not a funny story at all. Just the word is funny. We do not condone Liam Neeson's koshing.
We get a look at Blade's sword closer up in this bit
Oh,
as
she
well.
does, yeah.
She touches it and she sees like there's a timer thing going off, and then the fucking luckily she takes her hand off in time, and then the anti-tamper device thing pops off, and it looked very cool.
4 blades like spring out around the handle.
Yeah.
How does this work? Because this is my first time watching it. When this first happened, I thought, oh, it's like some DNA lock, like that one episode of South Park.
No.
Cartman's
This is
tracking.
before people thought of that.
No, it's if there's a switch on it, they show it later. Where you flick up a switch on the where the hilt is, and then you do that.
It must be a pressure thing. So when you apply
sets
pressure,
it off.
will set it off. Yeah, but you have to flick the switch to turn it off, and Deacon knows that at the end somehow.
Bastard.
There's also another great line coming up. So Whistler now tells Karens that vampires exist. That's what, as if she couldn't put that together since one just fucking ripped into her neck. And he gives Blade, after this little talk, the big flashlight because Blade's about to go on another mission. And it's just a massive flashlight that's a UV one.
Yeah.
And this is my second favourite line in the movie. Blade says, "It's still heavy." And then Whistler says, "But just so big." And then the scene just ends like that. It's supposed to be anything other than
just a throwaway kind of funny line.
I don't know. That's why it's so magnetic to me. What is that for? But just so big.
Yeah, but you're so big, Mr. Big.
It's not a big fucking flashlight.
It is.
This guy is a ninja walking around trying to kill 200 vampires at a time. What he's trying to say is he doesn't want to lug around a ton.
It's when she's not believing, like they're saying that vampires exist, and Blade just points out rightly, "Well, you've already met Mr. Crispy." And she's like, "Yeah, fair enough, vampires are real."
You got me there.
I didn't have any reaction to that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Closed case.
Well, they just, after telling her all this, they just send her on her way. Even though Blade just said she could be useful, they're just like, "Go home, you'll probably be fine."
Well, they do prep
Don't
her
worry
a bit.
about the... okay, they give her the mace, right?
They give her the mace, and they also point out what does and doesn't work. And this film added a bit to vampire lore, which wasn't before. The directors decided that crosses wouldn't work against vampires, citing, "What if the vampires were Jewish?"
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, that puts that to bed, doesn't it?
No, that doesn't work, mate. Next, garlic.
You've got to bring a dreidel as well.
Throw a dreidel at him.
Although reminiscent, this conversation, of a brilliant scene in The Mummy where Imhotep is approaching that little ratty Weasley guy, and he's got literally every symbol on a necklace, and he just goes through them all, trying to fend him off. Yeah.
Little ratty weasel boy.
Yeah, I could have been talking about myself, couldn't I?
Yeah.
He also tells Karen to buy a gun because if she starts getting sensitive to daylight or starts getting thirsty that a drink can't quench, she's got to shoot herself. Again, what kind of operation is this? Like, if you think she's going to become a vampire, keep her here and kill her. Just don't let her walk out into the world. But we do find out this is kind of for a reason in a sec.
I'd argue fucking ride it out. Being a vampire looks pretty cool.
Yeah, go to those raids.
Blade can do it.
You got super strength, you got those underground techno clubs, you got immortality. Looks pretty decent. I'd rather that than shoot myself in the fucking head.
I don't know, mate.
The pros definitely...
That sounds really good.
The pros outweigh the cons in my opinion, but alright. In many ways, I would prefer to be a vampire.
If you get a thirsty that no drink can quench it, or whatever he says, that just sounds like anyone after they've had 3 beers.
Or diabetes.
Diabetes.
Oh, God.
We're now back to Deacon. And Deacon is trying to translate the ancient texts. The ancient vampire texts. It's the Vampire Bible or something. He's got like a computer program doing it because no vampires know what this language is. Just keep that in mind for later on. And Dragonetti, who is the head of the Vampire Council, absolutely awful name, just sort of enters the room, asks what he's doing, slaps him, and then leaves without an answer.
Shouts at him for not listening because he's listening to fucking music in his headphones like a petulant child.
My lovely girlfriend Leash had given up on the watching Blade at this point. She was just on her phone. I thought she was on TikTok, whatever. But at this point, she turns to me and says, "That bloke who looks like a vampire, Dragonetti,
Yeah.
She'd IMDb'd him. He's been in 3 other vampire films as a vampire.
He does look like a vampire.
Yeah.
He's pigeonholed himself.
What were they? Let me guess.
You won't have heard of them.
Okay, I will not guess.
You can guess.
Nope.
It was Dracula 3000. Have you heard of that?
Sounds shit.
No, but it sounds great.
Shadow of the Vampire.
Not seen it. Sounds shit.
I've heard of that.
Blood for Dracula.
That doesn't sound like a real movie.
No, that sounds like a need.
No, but it just goes to show how well the casting director did on casting this man who looks like a vampire.
Am I correct in thinking that he is the Nazi in Bulletproof Monk?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Leash.
A Nazi in
The main
No.
head honcho
we
when
watched
he's
that
young.
movie this year.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, I'll
he
check
looks
that.
like he could either play a vampire or a Nazi, this man.
Oh, Evan, check it and put a little ding in if Johnny's right.
Okay, yeah, so the ding will go here if you're correct. Okay.
Oh wow, I can't believe Johnny was right/wrong.
Wow,
Well,
I
if
can't
you're
believe
wrong-
I was one of those things.
It'll just be silent. So, real nice and smooth transition for everyone. So Karen's being sent home. She goes straight back to her apartment building. No concerns about, why that might be a bad idea. And she notices 2 strange people getting into the lift with her, and she sees tattoos on the back of their neck. We learn later on that these are familiars, humans that are sort of given orders by vampires with hopes of one day becoming vampires themselves. But they don't follow them all the way to her room. She manages to get in and she starts packing a bag. But just as she's doing this, a police officer just walks into her apartment and, he seems nice. He's pretending like he's following up on her being missing because, to be fair, she was kidnapped from a hospital last night. But this guy has the least chill vibe ever.
Yeah, he's quite edgy, isn't he?
Yeah.
For a policeman in America. Bit too friendly.
Doesn't matter if the door was open. You can't just come in.
She's lucky he hasn't shot her.
Well, he's about to.
Yeah.
He bloody tries real quick, doesn't he? Because he also is a familiar. And it turns out Blade used Karen as bait because he wanted to catch one of these little fuckers. And he appears and he just beats on this guy for a solid 5 minutes.
He just slaps him around the room.
Destroying her apartment. There is nothing for her to go back to.
Does she care? Not one iota. No.
About as much as the guy who came back to life.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Starting to think this woman's just a shit actor. Right, you've got to act really shocked when this corpse sits up, okay?
Okay, got it.
Okay, now when your apartment's getting destroyed, look a bit annoyed. No, I'll just keep my same face, actually.
There's a good line in this bit where she's like, "You use me as bait," and he just goes, "Get over it."
Yeah, you can tell this movie was written by a guy. It's such what sounds like badass dialogue.
A nerdy guy.
Yeah. Get over it.
Get over it.
You can tell. What is his name? How have I just forgotten? Wesley Snipes really enjoys this role, though.
Yeah,
he's fully committed to it, and it pays off for everything he does.
Of all the actors that I could think of to do this role, he is probably the number one to do it, I reckon.
Oh, that's a good game. Evan, think of someone better than Wesley Snipes.
Well, unfortunately, I know who the next Blade is, and I think that's an excellent choice.
Are they remaking it?
I'm biased, yes, but it's been delayed indefinitely because the script is wank and it's only 50 pages long at the minute.
And it's a writer's strike.
120. Yeah, I don't know where.
And
it's
they've
at
got to
the
wedge
moment.
it into the MCU.
Yeah,
They're
and
gonna
it's
fucking ruin it.
a sequel kind of to the Eternals, which people hated. But
That was
movie
shit.
ends with the second credit scene where Jon Snow's character in that finds the sword, and then you hear a voice, and that's Blade, and it's Mahershala Ali. Is that his name?
He's
might have
not
just
Wesley
butchered that.
Snipes though.
Oh, he was
Mahershala
excellent.
Ali?
Did you ever watch Luke Cage?
Yeah.
The Netflix one. He was Cottonmouth in that.
Who's Mashallah Ali for someone who didn't see that?
Couldn't tell you, cunt.
He's been in lots of things. You would recognise him for sure. He's a great actor, but Wesley Snipes, like, his whole demeanour is just like this arrogant man who's like sick at martial arts, and that is all that Blade is.
Yeah, it got to. I mean, I told you a story last week, I think, Johnny, but it got into his head by the third Blade movie because he'd like just refused to do things on set.
Yeah,
there was a scene where they needed him just to open his eyes, and he refused to, so they had to CGI his eyes being opened.
Yeah, but they had like big problems on set with him because they thought that they were it's Blade Trinity for those who haven't seen it, but it's more put on to because Ryan Reynolds is in it and Jennifer Garner. Yeah. It's like this more collective of vampire hunters as opposed to just Blade, and apparently he got real sour about it, that it wasn't all about Blade. But I mean, the franchise has to go somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's my favourite one.
Yeah, but yeah, me too. Ryan Reynolds in that is, I mean, I love Ryan Reynolds anyway, but he was so fucking funny.
I think that's the first film I ever saw him in.
Probably me too, you know. He calls someone a cock-juggling thunder cunt.
All I really remember from that is that they're called the Care Bears.
Yeah.
And that really is just proof that his sense of humour hasn't really changed from that point, because that feels very Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
And it's still just that
very
stuff
Deadpool,
now.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why I love him.
So, Ryan Reynolds has been in 3 different Marvel franchises.
Yeah.
That's why he's so fucking rich. That's why he bought a football team.
Quite a shit football team, though.
Not anymore, mate. Not anymore.
They just beat Manchester United.
Not a full strength team, let's be honest, but
That
still
doesn't mean
pretty
anything.
impressive.
It doesn't mean anything to me either, but I saw it the other day and I really wanted to be involved in the football chat. All I really know about is garlic boys. And then it must go in every meal.
You're a garlic boy.
Well, Blade kicks the absolute shit out of this police officer inside, and then he drags him outside in broad daylight in the street and continues to beat on him on his car. On a police car, rather. Nobody helps. No. Nobody calls the rest of the police. Yep. They all just let it happen.
Then pulls a gun.
The police.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's fair. And they check the boot. There's blood in there. Clearly, he was making a delivery to somewhere where there's vampires.
Mr. Deacon.
So yeah. They decide just to wait near the car for a bit until the police officer comes back. Because he doesn't call any backup, he just goes home and comes back about 6 hours
What's he
later.
going to say, though, realistically? I mean, apart from the man who fucking shot up a hospital just attacked me.
People keep saying that the vampires own the police, so surely there's other ones it's not just this street-level police officer.
Well, that's something that comes up in later films, where the police come in, where Blade gets captured and he's arrested, and the people interviewing him are familiars. So I think they're in all positions of power, so regardless of like what is said or done, then like he'll be fine, I reckon.
But unfortunately, we're in the first movie, so this police officer's on his own. Well, they wait in the car for him to come back, and he does come back, and then this police officer doesn't notice that the car of the guy who assaulted him earlier has been following him for like 14 minutes, and he takes him to a vampire safe house, where, again, for the third time, he beats on this police officer, destroying everything in what must just be somebody's business, and there happen to be vampires living below, and eventually this guy shows him where the secret entrance to
quite a weird
the safe house
isn't
is. Was it a kitchen?
It was a
No,
club.
it was like an Asian club.
Yeah.
With like schoolgirls singing in a boxing ring, perhaps?
God, it was so bad. The music was so bad.
Okay, but the secret entrance was through the kitchen, right?
It was in the fridge.
It was in the fridge, yeah. And it was so weird because they were still using the doors of the secret entrance as a fridge.
Yeah.
Because it was like lettuce in the door. But it was just a hallway. So it's not refrigerated. So you're just buying lettuce everywhere. And once you open the door,
You know it's not a fridge.
it's not a fridge. Yes.
Hallways are quite cold though.
Sure. Do vampires eat lettuce?
You do get a fucking sick line before he goes in, though, where he says to Karen, there's worse things out tonight than vampires. And she's like what? And he says, like me. And then he puts his sword on his back. I was like, oh, come on. The dude on the door's like, do you have an invitation? He just takes his sunglasses off, smiles, and then you see him fly through some fucking glass doors. Do you have to kick everyone, Wesley Snipes?
He's causing just fucking millions of pounds in property damage.
He's lucky he just went to prison for tax evasion.
The insurance companies love him because premiums go up wherever there's vampires.
When Blade's in the city.
Also, there are worse things out tonight than vampires like me. You are a vampire, mate.
He's half and half.
vampire.
So humans. Do you mean there are humans are out?
Yes.
They are objectively worse.
Yeah.
There are
Absolutely.
things half worse than vampires out tonight.
Like what? Half of me.
If anyone wants to know, the terrible song being sung inside is called is by Bar Wang Cherry, Chin Chin.
Oh, that's not a good name for a song.
It is fucking
That was my
awful.
nickname for about a month.
Always will be, Harry. Chin chin. So he throws the cop around, beats out of him where the secret entrance is. He goes down the hallway. There is a elevator that I assure you has not a single button.
Nope.
The doors open when he gets down there. The doors close and the lift goes down when he goes in there, which means anyone who wants to go down has to wait for the lift to come back up. So it has the most literal one out, one in policy that anyone could ever have.
All you need is lettuce to get in there.
That's why it's all on the door. And at the same time, we flit over to Deegan, who we see his software that he has analysing this ancient vampire text has finally finished translating it. And not only does it translate it, it puts together a nifty little 3D output of the exact temple you need, how many of the current vampire pureblood households you need, and also Blade. So get working on that.
I might not have been paying attention, but I thought it was a diagram of some sort of vampire satellites. That's what it looked like.
I thought that as well, especially after watching Mission to Mars. It looks like the WSS.
It's not what it's called.
The VSS.
Nice.
I don't know what Mission to Mars is. Hopefully that's a...
It's bad.
Oh.
Don't watch it.
You know, but I don't know if it was that much worse than this.
Evan.
What?
Are we going to
Let's
fall
get
out?
to the end. Also, the cop familiar comes to warn Deegan after this program has finished translating the text that Blade has found the base. He showed Blade where this base was, and he's not too bothered at first, but then he just gets sick of him talking and bites him and throws him in the pool.
So he's now a vampire. As a familiar, he didn't drain all his blood. He's just been bitten. So he got his wish.
We never see him
he killed
again,
him,
so I
right?
assume he was dead.
If you drown before you become a vampire, do you still live?
Well,
Evan.
The film does what it wants.
Yeah.
Depends how much garlic the guy had. And also here, I thought this was a setup for something, but it never really is. Like, Deegan says to Quinn, really ominously, I still need you, Quinn. I definitely want Blade alive, don't worry about that, but I need you. You are essential to my operation. And he says it again, just before Deacon becomes a god, but nothing ever really comes of it. Like,
He's just his
actually
homie,
does
innit?
need Deacon. Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's just,
say it normally then. Say it like you're saying it to a mate. Not
I
like
love you,
you're
bro.
plotting his death.
Don't worry, I won't kill you when I'm a god.
Oh yeah, we'll all be gods, mate. Don't worry. Well, now we get to one of the more memorable bits of the film because it's so horrific. Blade and Karen go down into this vampire den and they find Pearl, the record keeper, which is a
Blob.
I'll tell you what it looks like.
It is a blob. Yes.
It's Jabba the Hutt who had a baby with Matt Lucas.
It looks like an enlarged version of the Absorbaloff from Doctor Who. For anyone who is as nerdy
what
as
a
me.
good reference.
Is that the one
Yes.
Peter Kay played?
Peter Kay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm such a fucking nerd. I can tell you the name of the episode. It is Love and Monsters.
Wow,
And it's a good episode, and this is a horrible vampire.
This is-
it has drank so much. I think it eats babies. I
Yeah.
think that's what it was. His thing.
It's one of the only things that had like a proper, like big practical effect on it. So
Massive.
they built it. It was a 700-pound latex skin
Jesus.
that had to be lifted in with a forklift, and they had to build the room around the prosthetic.
No shit.
Was
Pretty cool. They put a lot of time into that. Weirdly, not into everything else for
Looks
quite
great.
relatively a small scene, and that really shows like what they could have done. But I don't know. I don't know what the budget was on this. To be fair, I imagine
must
it was
have been
fairly big
budget
because it was New
constraints.
Line. But yeah, it was sort of very. Apart from Batman and Robin and all that kind of stuff, it was early superhero kind of films,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
This wasn't funded by Marvel, though. Marvel was going under at this point, and this was one of the properties that Marvel sold just to stay afloat. It's sort of for like, I couldn't have the exact number, but it was a pitiful amount. I would say around 10 grand.
Yeah.
They sold the license for this. And this got made, and this is why Marvel stayed afloat and why they could make more.
Well, yeah.
This is why we got Fantastic Four, X-Men,
Exactly.
all of that.
Part of the trivia that I saw says that the success of the film, especially since it followed Batman and Robin, is often considered the beginning of the rise of the superhero genre and why it became like dominant in the mainstream, because this is a more accessible sort of half and half action film that then became very popular. I guess like late 90s. There wasn't that much apart from Batman before that.
Well, we get Spider-Man after this, which
Yeah.
obviously was massive.
which
it
again
made it
Marvel
even better
sold off
again.
to Sony.
Yes, yeah. And then we got Fantastic Four, which was another Fox property.
Yeah.
And the X-Men, which was another Fox property. Obviously, Marvel didn't start making their own films till Iron Man in 2008.
Was it not?
And then we got a load of shit. DC. Oh, we also got Hulk, yeah. I think that was Fox as well, because they still own the rights to Hulk solo films. I think Disney has just got that back.
Oh, really?
So Hulk was allowed to be in things, but not to have a Hulk movie. And then we got like Daredevil and Elektra and all those
I
garbage.
liked Daredevil at the time, but I bet that's fucking shit as well now.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not.
Never
Although
seen it,
Ghost
mate.
Rider we got as well. I love the first Ghost Rider.
So bad.
Never seen
though.
that.
Fucking love it. I love Nick Cage so much.
Oh yeah. Did you see his new film? Massive Weight.
That was sick. I love that.
Oh, yes.
really
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that other one he did, though, the Renfield one with...
Oh,
Oh, Nicholas
Apparently
Holt.
that's not good. Yes.
Nicholas Holt is a brilliant actor, though.
he is.
Does he not
He
save
was
it?
in X-Men as well. I've heard it's bad. I've not seen it.
Yeah.
I don't want
Well,
to see
stop giving your opinion on it. Then.
it. I did give my opinion. I was just telling you I've heard it's bad. That's literally someone else's opinion. Anyway, we've gotten well sidetracked. Pearl is this massive vampire. It eats babies. It's overfed. It can't move from the bed. And it essentially keeps all the records. It has the vampire text within the building they're in. Blade is trying to get some information out of it, and they're burning it with the massive UV. Karen has a bloody good old go cooking Pearl for a bit. For a long time, it's good.
Do you boys watch it with the subtitles?
think I did, no.
No?
I don't think... Yes, I did. Sorry, yeah.
There was a horrible subtitle in this scene. So, Karen is burning Pearl with the light. The subtitle is Flesh Bubbles.
Oh god.
Visceral.
Yeah, and it's just not a nice scene, is it?
It's not. I mean, let's hope the Hippocratic Oath doesn't extend to vampires, because as a doctor, that is that's not great, is it?
Its voice is horrible as well. The screams are horrible. It's not good to look at. It
No.
works. This is a great scene. The money is well spent.
Exactly.
It's
Which
such a
is
weird bit. It's such a weird bit of the film. Like I, as I've said, I wasn't paying attention, so I might have missed the baby eating bit. Was that
Can't remember if
mentioned,
that
or
is-
is that just something you know?
That might just be something I know. I feel like it was
I
mentioned.
don't think it was mentioned, but no, maybe it was. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Okay, so me coming in uninitiated, I'm like, hang on, what the fuck is going on here? Why does this one vampire look like this? Why are they burning it?
Did it die?
No,
Very slowly.
Yeah, they just fucking it died of infection.
Oh, just a lovely torture scene in the Blade film.
I thought this was longer and that Pearl played more of a role because it's so memorable for me. But literally, this is the end now. They go into another room.
Yeah.
They blow off a door. They find the vampire Bible strung up in like these glass cases. And then Deacon doesn't show up. Quinn shows up. There's like a child vampire.
Yeah.
Which is like so obviously a vampire Blade.
It's an uncredited actor, but her name is Ebony Adams, and she was...
That's a vampire name.
She was a national competitor under a grandmaster called Billy Banks, who was in Hidden Tiger in '96. Before that, like part of the Hidden Tiger franchise.
Wow.
So she's like a proper martial arts person. They actually had to track her down to do this film because Wesley Snipes was like insistent that it be her, which was quite a cool touch, I thought.
Yeah, that is cool, but that explains why this felt so weird.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason this girl would be here, just milling about in the vampire Bible, and he's like not sure if she's human.
Yeah, because she's acting like just a little girl, and then she starts kicking the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah, for a long time.
Yeah.
She kicks the shit out of him.
Breaking numerous priceless artifacts of what I'm assuming are the original pages of their Bible.
Right, two things here. Number one, can Blade sense if they're vampires or not?
He says he can smell them.
Yes, he can smell them.
So, how did he not know?
Well, that's just it. That's why this doesn't make sense, yeah.
Because she's acting
number
like
two.
a little girl.
Yeah, but he can smell her.
Yeah.
She's not smelling like a little girl.
She's not rolled
they
around
smell
in dog shit like the witches.
Nice. Good reference.
Number two, you said she was in Crouching Tiger.
No, her master was.
Do you mean...
You said Hidden Tiger.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
Hidden
said it
Tiger.
wrong. Is it Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Hidden
or
Dragon
whatever?
is the one that came after that.
Oh, I didn't know
Right,
that.
yeah. I
Hidden
didn't know
Tiger
that.
was the precursor.
I did not know that. I've never seen either of those films.
I think
either.
it was
I've
anyway.
seen-
It's a martial arts flick from like '96, I want to say. So
It was a
it predates
biggie.
this, but he's like I think his name's like Tabo or something. The guy who does it. I like martial arts flicks, as you can probably tell.
I've seen Crouching Tiger. I've seen House of Flying Dragons.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Great movies.
Really cool. All the wire work in that is amazing. But yeah,
you seen
she's like
Kung
an
Fu Hustle?
understudy for him.
Oh shit! I've actually seen Kung Fu Hustle. That's sick.
Yeah, have you seen
I've
Kung Fu
not
Hustle?
seen that. No.
Oh my god.
I've actually seen that film. It's good.
It's a spoof in the very lightest sense of the word. It is tongue in cheek, but also all the combat is like true to martial arts movies. It's really good.
Right. Okay.
It's not like epic movie and such.
Right.
It's not taking the piss in that
It's
way.
still semi-serious.
Yes,
yeah.
everything is
The
still
fight scenes are,
the
yeah.
production is still the same as it would be for any other movie
It's just the story's a
like
bit
that.
funny.
Yeah, but it's a comical movie.
It's got
Okay,
jokes.
sick.
It's good.
Like Bulletproof Monk.
Oh, like that, but good. So Quinn shows up with all his goons. There's a bit of shooting. Nobody really seems to get hit by the bullets. Blade kills a few of them.
All
and
the
then
baddies do.
Quinn
Blade's
pins
mowing them
him
down.
Yeah, but then Quinn gets him, but doesn't do anything. He just punches his armor like 100 times in a row. He punches Blade only in the armor, one headshot
Broken
at the
hands.
end, and then
Has he got two hands at this point?
he's got one. Yeah, he's got his hand back. But like another vampire in the scene picks up the sword, knowing it's gonna cut off his
I don't
hand.
think he does. I don't, because he's laughing. He's like, I've got his pig sticker here, and laughing.
But then he's fine when his hand is cut. He's just laughing still.
He knows he's
He
going to
never stops
regenerate, though.
laughing.
I would laugh if I'd be like, "Ha! Look at my hand."
Well, now Blade also laughs,
Yeah.
and they're all like, "Oh, hang on, what does he find funny?" Blade's expecting company, baby. Whistler bursts into the room in a car, And then within half a second, he is outside of the car and he is shooting at all the vampires in the room. A guy who cannot move fast. We haven't mentioned he's in a brace.
Yeah.
He's an old
He's
man
fucked.
and he has cancer.
Yeah.
He is as fucked as you can be.
I
but he
didn't
is
notice
out
the
and
brace
about, baby.
until
He
like
was-
the last 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah, he's proper fucked, but he's like mowing motherfuckers down. He's like hip
Yeah.
firing with some LMG, just like mowing these boys down.
He looks cool as hell.
Yeah, it's cool.
I love Whistler.
Yeah, I do
Even though
too. He's such a
nothing
sick
about
character.
him makes sense.
No, it doesn't have to.
Well, they back away into this sort of hallway behind them. They throw a bag back into the room behind them. Obviously, that's filled with explosive. It destroys the vampire Bible and maybe Pearl. I can't remember if it's in the second movie. Mobius movie.
Mobius. Gotta
Jared
keep it in
Leto.
now.
Yes, that was a reference to Jared Leto. And also, I think
Mobius when he's put on some weight.
I think someone played Michael Morbius in this movie.
Yes,
But
it was cut, I think.
was it the director?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, that's where I saw that then.
Is Morbius Marvel?
Oh no. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yes,
Morbius is
Mo-
DC.
No,
No,
Morbius
it's
is
Marvel.
Marvel.
But Sony
Spider-Man
owns it,
does
'cause
the-
it's a
Oh, right.
Spider-Man property.
Okay.
Yeah. It's easy to get them confused because all those movies are also filmed with a blue shader on, so you don't know what's happening.
Can I just say that this whole Marvel DC rivalry, everyone, you can like both, by the way, everyone. You don't have to pick
Or-
a side.
If you're cool, like none of them.
No, you don't have to pick a side. It's fine. I like both.
I think they're both shit.
Nothing matters. We should all welcome the void. They fight a bit in the subway. There's a lot of gunfight. There is a sick scene where Blade holds Quinn's face against the train,
Yeah.
which is awesome. But again, does not kill him. Allows him to escape again. This guy has missed the half a job.
Yeah.
Well, like I was trying to work out, why does he not kill him? Why is he always doing half a job? He wants to find his way back to matey boy Frost,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
I think he's using him as some sort of like tracker because he always knows he's going to run back to Frost. I don't know, but then he set him on fire and said, let's try something new. So he's clearly done this in the past several times. Maybe,
And he came back to the hospital to kill him.
yeah. I don't know. You're thinking about it, Evan.
You're right. We do not have time to stop and think about things like this. There is still quite a bit of the movie left.
The CGI where he's got his head up against the train is another bit that still looked quite good. It could have been
not bad.
a lot worse than the rest of the film. But that looked quite cool. It's like bashing it off of the fucking train cars as they're coming past. Every person in the train carriage was a cardboard cutout, apparently.
Were there people on the train?
Yeah.
I didn't even see them.
No, I didn't either. I saw this in
What a waste
some
of the
fucking
budget.
deep dive that I was doing. Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, that's not much of the budget, is it? If they're
And
cardboard.
no, but half of the faces was the guy who did the CGI. It was his face.
Well,
when-
that
when-
only makes sense if they were CGI, Johnny.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Opening up more questions.
I'm just
hang
telling
on,
you
that
what
means-
I read.
The CGI guy had to CGI the face of the guy who did all the cardboard cutouts onto a person in the movie.
Or there wasn't enough budget for a CGI guy. They just got the cardboard guy to do it.
It's cheaper, I would imagine.
See what you can rustle up. And to be fair, that makes sense from the CGI that we see.
It's just stop motion cardboard cutouts.
Did you boys see, whilst Blade and Karen are fighting everyone, Whistler just fucks off. He gets into a manhole beneath the
He just
train
dashes.
track. Just leave. This man is fine. He doesn't have cancer. His leg is okay. And he's probably, that's a wig. He's not that old.
No.
He's in that manhole quicker than anyone can even get out of the hallway. And he closes it behind him, leaving like Blade to figure out what he's going to do. And to be fair,
He
pretty
knows
awesome.
Blade's got this.
Yeah, he grabs the back of the train. That's fine. They get in the train, and
The train, which
and
is
then
now
there's-
empty, there are no cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, they've all got off. Presumably, they're all in the manhole with Whistler. And this is what this movie suffers with: is little scenes like this where you go straight from action within the same like scene to just like a little
To
quiet
nothing.
chat.
It ruins the momentum massively.
Yeah, we don't learn anything in this scene. It's just that he shoots up his serum in front of Karen, but he doesn't really explain what it is to her in this moment. That's it. And then we're all of a sudden back at headquarters where Whistler's explaining literally why Blade just took the serum, even though that could have been explained in the scene we just saw.
Exactly.
And he's saying that so far he's failed to find a cure. But
To be
obviously,
fair-
he's still a vampire.
To be fair, from what I've heard about public transport in America, someone shooting up on the underground is not unexpected.
No. So why is she questioning it? Just avert your gaze like the rest of us.
You live in this country, you know. But yeah, this is where Whistler tells the story about how his family was killed and explains that how he's trying to like stave off his hunger and stuff with this thing, but it's no longer working. And luckily, she's a hematologist. Is that the word? Yeah. And then I think she gets to work then on something, doesn't she?
I wonder what.
We don't know at that point, but she sort of dashes off to do something.
And you think that these scenes are going to end here, but they don't, because we roll straight into a scene where Karen walks in on Blade, just sitting in a dark room on a wooden chair,
Staring at the corner.
Yes, staring at the corner. The blinds are closed. There's nothing going on in here. And she's just like, to Blade, maybe you should just forget your past and move on. Maybe this isn't the life for you. Even though he's doing pretty well at it so far.
It's
Obviously,
as easy
he's
as that.
like...
You know all the reasons why you're upset. Just forget about it, mate.
Cheer up.
Stop being depressed.
Well, your mother was killed by a vampire. Oh.
Obviously, he takes as well to that as we do, because he's like, no, everything I do is moving me to a place where I can forget about the past. I'm not just going to drop it all. I've killed so many people. I'm not just going to stop now.
If I do, it's always hypocritical. Like, and I'm many things, but I'm not a hypocrite.
I killed all those butchers for nothing.
Yeah, it was just a butcher's convention.
He takes what she says so well. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me. Which I wrote down because she does know things about him. Chris Christopherson just told her.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that. This is now 4 separate conversations in a row we've been shown.
Which could have all, like you said, it could have all been compressed into one scene.
One scene, yeah.
And it could have gone, like, rather than staggering the action with, like, 5 minutes of good quality action film, and then 20 minutes of inane dialogue, you could have had 5 minutes of each and made this 2-hour film an hour and a half and way more manageable.
It would have been a beautiful hour and a half film.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll save this. This is the end of movie stuff, and we've got a lot to go. So let's move straight into the next scene, which is another conversation scene. No, it's not. Deacon takes Dragonetti, the terribly named sort of head of all the vampire houses.
Very well
to the
casted
beach.
vampire.
Very well casted, terribly named. They've taken him to the beach because they're going to make him watch a sunrise. They rip out his fans and they rip out his frack.
Not my frangs!
My only frangs.
That's how people know I'm a vampire.
Frankire.
God, no, I have to leave this in again. They take him to the beach. They rip out his fangs.
Frangs.
And they let him fry. That's why I said frangs. God damn it. They put on, like, quite a bit after he starts burning. They're all fine. They put on some motorcycle helmets, and that, I assume they're UV protected.
Yeah.
They stop them.
Well, they
from
put on
being
sunblock
fried.
as well, don't they? To, like, ward off the early parts of the sun. My question, if that's an option, why not do that all the time?
No idea.
It's because the sun's just rising, right? You're only getting the
Right.
beginning of the rays.
Well, but later on, very soon, in fact, Deacon meets Blade
Yep.
in the middle of the day.
Exactly.
In the
broad
shade.
daylight. Yet so the sun is still there.
There's still
You're
UV
getting hit with
around.
UV.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're assuming that it's the UV that they're allergic to, not just seeing the sun.
Well, I'll be honest with you, boys. I assumed that the reason Deacon was all right without his sun visor was because he's not a pureblood, right? He's a.
I think the
converted
effects are still the
vampire, if you will.
same. I think.
Yeah, they're all allergic to sunlight.
It's
I don't know.
whether you're a
based
pure-
on what we've seen in this scene.
Maybe. I don't know enough about the
Yes.
law to refute that.
Contrary to everything the movie has told us, Harry is right. It does
thank you.
imply that he's fine.
He's slightly less allergic, is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, they do seem to be, because a lot of them have their helmets off. Because he definitely burns quicker than everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's not until literally the sun crests that, oh, great, Evan, crests.
Crests.
That they flip down the visors on the helmets.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're saying I'm right, Evan.
I think I just said you were right. I think I literally
It's
just said
so
those
rare
words.
for you to do that.
Your medal's in the post, Harry.
Yeah, and he, through for another iconic scene, explodes.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
They love exploding.
Great stuff.
As opposed to just turning into ash like most of the victims.
Yeah, if you're stabbed, you turn into ash. If light touches you, or later on as we get this explodey serum, you explode.
turn into
yeah.
to goop.
Blade now shows Whistler a piece that he's retrieved of the Vampire Bible. He managed to steal a bit, and it's mostly burned. And the reason I made note that Deacon, a vampire, and the Vampire Council, who are older than anyone in this movie, needed software to translate the Bible, is that Whistler can just do it by eye. He knows exactly what this piece of paper says
Not exactly.
and explains it to Blade.
Not exactly.
Well, because
he knows
most of
the
it was
gist.
burnt away. Yes, because he got like 4 lines sequentially burned away, so of course he got the gist.
Also-
But he knew what it said on those lines.
Out of all of those pages that were in that archive, he got this bit and managed to know.
Lucky, yeah.
But
Yeah,
he
the bit with
got
the blood
lucky.
god on.
Yeah. Oh, this is what's going to happen. Out of the 500 pages in that room, he got the most important
Maybe he
bit.
could smell the important bit.
They didn't get the author's page. Karen also gives Blade, at this point, a liquid she's put together. It's another serum, and this is the one that will, on contact, explode a vampire.
EDTA.
It's just for some
called.
cool scene later, yeah. Also, this is where we learn that Whistler has cancer, but he doesn't, so don't worry about that. He's fine.
It is explained that the reason it'll explode a vampire is because it's an anticoagulant.
Yes.
A blood thinner.
Well, no, I'll bring it up when we see a vampire explode or not, but
Okay. Well, we're gonna. We're definitely gonna. Whistler now tells Karen that her disease, she's been bitten, remember, and it's progressed too far. They didn't catch it in time. The cure they gave her just wasn't delivered soon enough, and she has another day at most. She gets working on a cure or something. I don't actually ever remember her finishing it, but she does cure herself pretty soon.
They say it's using gene therapy the same way that they do with, doesn't matter, the same way that they
CRISPR.
do with another disease.
Yeah.
did gene
another
therapy
nameless
exist
disease.
in 1998? I thought
Yeah,
it was
man.
a recent thing.
Do hematologists know how to do gene therapy?
Of course they do, Evan. Stop thinking about it.
Well, now we get a nice little face-off that we just referred to in the middle of the day. Deacon has summoned Blade to the park, or he's in the park and Deacon is there. Deacon has a little girl hostage. This one isn't a vampire. Deacon, we assume, is covered head to toe in suntan lotion. Because he is just skin out.
He stood in the shade, he's fine.
There is a tree. He is in the shade, but he shouldn't be fine. And he's trying to convince Blade that all humans are cattle. You should join my side. But Blade tells Deacon, I know this truth is a lie. I know about the blood god because of that corner of a piece of paper that we got. And Blade just tries to kill him. Even though this guy has a hostage, Blade doesn't really care about
any
people who are gonna
repercussions
get
at
hurt.
all. Shooting in
No.
public, an automatic
Broad
weapon.
daylight.
What he's got? He's
He's a wanted man.
yeah. He's got a Mac 11 on his hip that he just fucking whips out and shoots a burst of rounds at this man, and then you get like almost like in the Matrix in the following year. There's like the time stop, like time motion stuff that they have in the Matrix. It's
Oh,
almost
yes,
like
bullet
that.
time.
Bullet time. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's like that, which apparently is. It was already in writing, but they used this as like a precursor, as like a template to do the Matrix.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So basically, he shoots him. We get bullet time a year before the Matrix, which I have always heard was like where bullet time originated from.
Bullet time
In
itself
fact,
is a different thing. They developed like a whole motion capture
That's where
system with
it
like
pans around, innit?
Yeah, like they developed like an entire fucking program to do bullet time, which seems mental because I could probably do that on my Mac now. But like at the time that was cutting edge. But this was the precursor to that, which is quite interesting.
At the time, could you have done bullet time on your Windows 98?
At the time, I was 6, so
Probably not, you bitch.
Oh, I just tried to find a game that had a load of bullet time in it, and I
John
can't
Woo.
remember
There
what
was
it
a
was.
John Woo game.
Yes, Harry. What was that
Stranglehold.
called? Stranglehold. Oh, thank you so much. That alleviates so much of my inner turmoil. What a great game that was. But we don't need to dwell on it, because there's so much to get through still.
It's a long old movie, isn't it?
It bloody is. 2 hours is too long for a Blade movie. Deacon throws the little girl, after being shot at, into a hot dog stand. This is all Blade's fault, by the way, because he's shot for no reason. Didn't even hit the guy. Broad daylight. The girl crashes through glass. She's probably not okay. She's also now in the road. Blade just about saves her from being hit by the bus, but it is, again, too little, too late. The girl is scarred for life.
she's cut up real bad.
Yeah.
You
it's
don't
not good.
see it, but
And
you know she is.
He just makes rash decisions, and
He's a
everything
hothead.
goes wrong every time, but he's never held to it, because this is, at its heart, an action movie. There's no, like,
No one ever
consequences for
professes that
actions.
he is a rational mind. He is a hot-headed vampire killer. And a tax evader.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, this is now where Deacon just all of a sudden knows where Blade's base has been this entire time.
They said that they've been
And-
looking for it.
Sure, but
Now's a convenient
they
time
always
to find
have
it.
been. Yeah, now, this is where they all of a sudden they know where it is, and it's only Whistler and Karen there. They laugh when they enter the room to let Whistler and Karen know that they're in the room.
Bit bait.
Who knows
My
why?
note says
Yeah.
a very vampire laugh is in here.
Yeah.
So, ha!
1. 2.
I'm glad you got that, Johnny.
Thanks.
Because I did an awful impression of the Count.
I don't know how long. I don't know why it took them so long to find the base. Like, Blade is always dressed as Blade.
Yeah.
He always drives that black car always back to this garage.
His car.
How is this? How long
Maybe
it's
he
taken?
goes a different way every time.
Should we just follow him?
He drives so fast, though, Evan.
My favourite car to this day is a 68 Charger, and I put that down to this film, seeing it at a very poignant point in my life. I fucking love that car. It's modified anyway, but that car is so fucking sick. It's proper like American muscle, matte black, modified thing. Good lord. I'd rather have that over a Ferrari any fucking day. That is a nice car.
1967 Impala for me. Another
Oh,
big old muscle car.
Yeah, alright, okay, I see you.
Too low for our roads, though, mate.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
speed bumps would destroy it.
That's a pimp car.
Yeah, boy.
I quite like Citroen cactuses because they have big bumps on the side.
Citric cactus.
I'm not even sure if it's a Citroen.
No, it is. With the fucking slip mats on the side of the doors.
Yeah, they look cool, right?
They look horrendous, Harry, and I'm fucking not going to talk to you again.
Good. Do me a favour, Johnny.
Oh, well, Blade comes back to base. And he finds Whistler half dead. To be fair, he's been pretending to be half dead for this entire movie, so it's finally caught up with him.
And even then, he pulls a fucking sheet off of him. He doesn't say anything until he starts talking out loud, and he's like, no. Say it as soon as you hear footsteps, motherfucker. You know it's Blade.
Whistler tells Blade that Deacon needs Blade's blood to complete the ritual. And for some reason, Deacon came here and explained all of this to Whistler so he could pass it on. And so clearly the solution for Blade is not to go. If they need his blood, he's not had any problem putting someone else in jeopardy to complete the mission. So he shouldn't care that Karen's been abducted.
No.
But for some reason, he does go. And Whistler shoots himself.
Yeah. Oh, and that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and that. But it's fine. He's alive in the next movie.
He's been bitten.
Yes.
So he shoots himself. Yeah.
He was bitten, yeah.
So he shot himself, and Blade's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then he's like, oh, all right then. He just gives him a gun. All right, fair enough. You see yourself off. I'll be over here.
He's just going to keep on limping if I don't give him the gun. It'll be even worse. It'll take ages to get anywhere.
At least he'll be able to walk properly when he's a vampire.
I don't think they ever explain how he survives in the next movie.
I don't think... Well, he's a vampire.
We should do a follow-up episode.
We've never done a sequel, and the first sequel is not going to be Blade 2.
Oh, that's the
I've
best
never
one.
seen Blade 2.
It is.
Trinity's
my favourite
good.
one. It is a very good one.
Yeah.
The vampire in the second one who's he's like a Nosferatu looking cunt.
Yeah.
And there's a scene when he comes out of a bloodbath in like a dressing gown. That's what I look like with my dressing gown on. I sent a picture of myself to Joe once, who will be on this podcast at some point, and he's never let me forget it. I don't know why I sent it to him. I was crucifying myself.
But luckily you're Jewish, so...
I've never seen that film, but I can imagine Evan looking like a Nosferatu cunt.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him right now, and yeah.
He struck a pose.
I did. Blade watches the videotape that was left next to Whistler, just in case Blade couldn't get enough information from the half-dying man. And Deacon just tells him where they are, because obviously they want him to come to them because they need his blood. There. And Blade starts making some more of the explodey serum that Karen taught him to make. Karen taught him to make. Oh, this is too much Blade, boys. I'm losing it. We're now at the towers where Deacon has just told them to come, and he's offering to turn Karen because he finds her a sexy lass, and we're going to see why in a bit because he's got someone else who means something to Blade. He's got a bit of a collection going on. And Karen tells Deacon that there's a cure, and he can definitely be cured because he's just a lowly converted vampire, not a pureblood. And he's just, saying the same old shit. Humans are a virus. They've got to be exterminated.
Yeah.
But his main point here is that when they summon the blood god is going to turn everyone on Earth into a vampire, which is strange since his whole plan was so that humans could be like the cattle for the vampires.
So what's their food source going to be?
Well, that is like us turning all animals and all plants into humans and then wondering what we're going to put in burgers.
What's that fucking...
What are you going to eat?
There's a film, it's called like Day...
Yes, it's with Ethan Hawke.
Yes, that film
Daywalkers.
bangs. That film is so good. But it's like post-vampire outbreak and vampires have already taken it. It's Daybreakers?
Daybreakers.
That's the one.
Yes.
And they...
So the purebloods are transforming into bat creatures.
Yeah.
And they need to
And there isn't enough blood, basically.
No.
So it's... Yeah, that as a concept is fucking cool. That's where vampires have already taken over and now they're struggling to survive because there's not enough humans. I'm surprised that wasn't made into a franchise. That was quite a cool idea.
Yeah, it's a good movie. And it would have been the sequel to this if Deacon had have won.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, no, because there wouldn't have been any humans, so...
There were in
Well,
that.
they'd have still have blood bank stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that would run out in about 5 days.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They were farming them in that film. Karen in this scene is just goading Frost so hard.
she's winding them up.
She's got some fucking big old metal swingers on her. I'll give her that. She calls him a sexually transmitted disease, and he does not like that. But then he comes back and says, "We're the top of the fucking food chain." I was like, "All right, okay, that's a cool line."
He's great for this role.
Yeah,
he is doing everything you need this character to do.
Being an arrogant, bullshit fucking arsehole.
Yeah, but not in an off-putting way.
No.
It suits the character really well.
Yeah.
And this scene is like the pinnacle of that, because he truly means that humans are a vermin. The only thing that's the problem here is that his plan doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If you turn everyone into a vampire, you've got a problem.
We'll deal with that later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. We never get to that. It's fine.
Who plays?
I can't remember his name.
Someone
Has
that
he been
I don't...
in anything else?
I would imagine so as a professional actor, but he's...
Has he been in anything I've seen? Has he been in any of those 4 films?
Not if you don't know him, though.
He wasn't in Babe, not Blabe.
Oh, Blabe would be a good film.
Vampire pigs.
You
That'll
jest,
do,
but that
Blabe.
sounds sick. That'll do, Blabe.
Or that'll do, Vig. Maybe that works better.
No, that doesn't work better. Oh, well, this is the next action scene in the movie. It's been a long time since the last one. Blade busts into this fucking tower.
Blabe, that's what it would be called.
Blade busts in on his motorbike into this building. I just want to touch on as well, a motorbike is an insane choice for this man.
Yeah.
Again, it is broad daylight and he is wanted by the police.
Dressed as himself.
And yes, at least the car covers who you are.
Yeah.
That's not his concern. Also, a car would protect you from bullets, which these vampires definitely have.
Or if you're driving through fucking glass walls, maybe a fucking motorbike isn't the best choice. However, that motorbike is fucking cool. So,
very cool. Yeah, that's why it's in it,
Yeah.
because it looks cool. But immediately he's off the motorbike.
Yeah.
It was only for the entrance, because now he's shooting and slashing the place up. Also, I fucking found this so funny. Deacon is like up in the top of the tower communicating with the familiars who are fighting Blade. They're not even vampires. And he's got this like little headset on. And in this moment, he looks nothing like the main antagonist of this movie. He looks like customer support. He looks like me right now. How can we help you today?
Hi, blood bank.
Oh, this is also the first time we see Blade stab someone with this serum and their head explodes, and it is a sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that he
Their
like
whole body swells up, right?
Yeah, but mostly the head.
Yeah, he like jabs him with this vial of things like a gas injected serum, which is the I can't remember what it's
The
called.
anticoagulant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it makes them.
But they sort of swell up and they look very much like a blood clot. An anticoagulant stops blood clots.
Harry, how much do you know about vampires, mate? You ever fought a vampire?
Less than I know about anticoagulants, so carry on.
Maybe we're supposed to assume their blood is really thick and dense, and it just sits in their veins the entire time.
It starts shooting round them.
Yeah, they've got too much blood. If you anticoagulate it fills up
swells.
too much of their body. Yeah. It's like a tomato puree in there. If you add water, you're going to get a lot more.
A lovely pizza base.
I didn't think they were good. The effects in this scene.
It's not awesome.
It's the best
But,
of the
like-
shit ones in this.
They were practical, right?
No,
They were practical.
No, that was CGI.
that was
definitely.
all CGI.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, like the one on the floor looked practical. It looked like some sort of plastic or rubber body jiggling around.
Potentially when
Oh,
they're
maybe that was.
when they're on the floor.
The
maybe.
head expanding.
Oh, the
was
head
CGI.
was CGI.
sorry,
Yeah.
that's not-
This was
I've just realised that that would be impossible to do with practical effects, and so the argument I was making was insane.
this was like the
You probably
beginning.
could if you pump up a balloon with blood. But not the face, Harry. No.
This was like the beginnings of CGI, where they were really leaning on it super, super hard. Where it was like, this is the cutting edge. This is the future of cinema. We're going to do everything with this, and it's never going to age.
Boy, were they wrong.
When these two goons do explode, as Blade walks away, there's an awful CGI shot of blood splatting up in the air.
Yeah.
It's too thick.
Yeah, way too thick.
It's not droplets, it's one, like, cube of blood.
Minecraft blood.
Yeah, there's about 8 polygons in there.
Warning for everyone. It's all bad from here on out, the CGI. They have run out of money. Yeah, this is the end of it. But now we get my least favourite scene in the movie. Blade goes to Deacon's bedroom and opens Deacon's what appears to be some sort of sci-fi bed.
He's got
but
a
I'm not going to
coffin
question
sci-fi bed.
Yeah, there's not enough time for how that works. But inside Deacon's coffin sci-fi bed is Blade's mum, which is so uncomfortable, but not as uncomfortable as an upcoming scene.
How does Blade recognise his mum if the last time he saw her was as a newborn baby?
From bottom up.
He's a vampire. They get different memories.
Yeah, okay, that's enough hand waving for me. I buy that.
You know what's worse? Blade's name is Eric.
Yeah.
That is the most juxtaposed a name could
I can
be
only
from
think
Blade.
of Cartman in South Park. When his name is Eric.
Blerick.
So now Deacon bursts into the room with all his goons and they just start tasing the shit out of Blade. He goes to the fucking ground. There are 12 people tasing this guy.
That's going to leave some neurological damage for sure.
But yeah, Deacon wastes this now exposition because Blade is knocked out, and this is when he chooses to tell him, "Oh, I'm the one that bit your mum." By the way.
He's practically
and
unconscious.
to be fair, I thought that was a good twist.
Yeah.
My first time watching it, I thought that was a good twist.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
I didn't see that coming.
They said earlier on that he said that he was always looking for the person that killed his mother or bit his mother, and then it turns out to be Deacon. That I didn't, having not watched it in a long time, I didn't remember that, and I thought that was quite a nice touch. But he has the audacity to say, "You're finally reunited with your mother and you act like this." Yeah, maybe if you stop shocking him, it'll be easier for him to be like
process his feelings.
I'd be pretty unhappy if I was being tasered by like 10 dudes. Like,
well, now they take full advantage of Blade being knocked out because they are transported to the Temple of the Blood God. And initially, I was going to kick up a fuss about like it being coincidental that the temple was luckily built 20 minutes outside of New Orleans. But I think the vampires did build this based on the schematics that the translation software gave them.
He said, no, he said that
Isn't
the
it like
other
an
vampires forgot about it.
Over, my rant was correct.
Yeah, so you're very lucky. Also, if these older vampires as part of the heads of the families are immortal, in America, they should remember the building of this fucking temple, a very important monument to their fucking history.
Well, you've got to assume then that because a blood god, it's got to be older than like Christian god.
Yeah,
it's got to be like one of the proper pagan original ones.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it being there beforehand. But then also why? Because these vampires clearly come from they seem Eastern European.
Yeah, Transylvania.
One of them does.
I know they all
vampires from all over the world in their family.
They're all talking in Slavic though.
The Slavic looking one was.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was very. I mean, we don't know how long they're in the van, but let's assume it was about 20 minutes. It was 20 minutes outside of New Orleans.
And there was a hell of a lot of technology in this temple as well. Buttons, metal coffins.
Well, the sci-fi bed coffin, for one. You can't tell me that's built but in the time of the Blood God.
I don't know. We don't know the technology that vampires have.
Yeah, okay, again, fair enough, Johnny, you've convinced me.
They should be ruling the world with that kind of technology, especially if they had it way before the rest
I
of us.
think its convenience is it's in the US and not in like fucking Transylvania, which it should be, really. You don't see him get on a plane and then have to get through customs and then declare
it is
all his
literally
fucking
20 minutes
yeah.
later.
You can imagine Blade like unconscious being dragged through a fucking metal scanner, all of his fucking knives going off.
Sorry, your friend can't fly today.
He's on the no-fly list. He shot up
He
a
can't
hospital.
put his sharp objects in the bin.
Yeah.
Well, they start prepping Blade for what they need, and they don't need Karen anymore. So Deacon takes her to like these pits below the temple, where they've also put one of her former colleagues from the beginning of the movie.
Her
throw her
ex.
down, her ex, yeah. And he isn't a normal vampire. He is, to be fair, much scarier than any other vampire in this. He's like ghoulish. He's a zombie, I think they describe him as.
He's in the midst of the thirst, isn't it? Is what they call it. Where they're like turn into, they say that they'll eat anything. They're fucking animals. Like Curtis is his name, and that he's this gnarled, like weird creature in the bottom of the dungeon. But he was an American man, and am I correct in thinking that he speaks with an English accent?
Didn't pay attention.
He
mate.
absolutely fucking does. So,
This film had gone on too long. I stopped paying attention.
vampirism turns you into an Englishman, is all I'm saying.
Well, Karen is not really fazed much by this like thirsty,
Shock.
brutal vampire.
Shocker. She's not fazed by fucking anything, mate.
True. She just starts beating the shit out of him with a bone, and then he stays on the ground for a
Fucking
bit. And
brains him like
manages to
6
escape.
times.
Yeah. And this is now the most uncomfortable bit of the movie, where Blade
God.
is in the room with his mum. And his mum is like, I'm a vampire now. I've hunted, I've killed. The vampires are my people. I'm not your mum anymore. And while she's saying this, she's like face to face with him, but like rubbing her nose and chin along his nose and chin.
And lips.
Not. Yep.
Yeah.
They're between those two.
Not before she cuts off his shirt with a fucking knife. What, do they think his fucking top is booby-trapped? Although that would be fucking sick. Like, they cuts it off from the bottom to the top. Just take it off him, like a normal t-shirt. That's a normal thing to do. Oh, God,
No,
it's
but he's
so
cuffed in. She
uncomfortable.
can't take it off like a normal top.
It was...
Oh, he's not wearing a long sleeve.
The first
Oh,
5
wait,
minutes
but
of
that's
this...
not how that works.
The first 5 minutes of this film was super horny until they get to the club. And now it's like super horny for like another 10 minutes where it's basically
Incest
his mum.
horny.
I mean, vampires are
Yeah.
pretty fucked up, but do they draw the line at incest? I know they're all obsessed about purebloods and stuff, but like,
That's the most pure blood.
that of
Whatever
your
it is.
son.
I didn't like it.
Right.
I didn't like it.
It's around about now that we see Quinn again, I think.
Yes.
Oh, it's just after this. So
Right.
first she steps on the button and triggers the sarcophagus closing, which stabs him up. But also, why isn't Deacon watching this? Like, him being in the sarcophagus is essential to his plan.
Yeah.
And he's left his main enemy in the room with his mum, assuming it's all going to go... It does all go his way, but only because we are so close to the end of the movie. We are an hour and 50 in. This needs to end. So, of course, it's going to work out.
Yeah.
But why isn't he here? Why is he just stood downstairs with his mate?
This sarcophagus, it's worth saying, is like it's 2 slabs of stone or metal or something.
Oh, it's metal
with
for sure.
a human outline within it. Or vamp.
Perfectly shaped
Full
blade.
blade. Imagine if he was like
Perfectly.
5'2" and it just shut on his head.
Oh, that is a better movie. If it was a short guy, a short king killing vampires.
But it's like a Wacky Races cutout.
Yes,
like
yeah.
closing
Yeah, like
on him.
he's they just run through the wall.
It's like Wile E. Coyote has run into the
I
cliff.
just love the idea of his shoulders and head being crushed by a thing, or him being lifted into the form so that his feet aren't quite touching the ground.
Oh, well, luckily it's the perfect shape.
Yeah.
But also it's filled with spikes.
Yeah.
So not so lucky for Blade, because they need his blood. And then now it's here where we cut downstairs, where all the purebloods are being lined up into their positions. Luckily, all the right purebloods are still alive from fucking 5,000 years ago, whenever this fucking temple was built, and there's all spot freaks.
They also fucking kill one.
Yeah, the blonde vampire who's like one of the goons.
Unnamed, but her name is Mercury.
Haven't named her yet.
She's called Mercury. I only know that from trivia. But she stabs this motherfucker and then volleys him across the fucking room, and when he turns into dust, and then Blade's sword is like stuck in the fucking rock. Now they don't have enough people to complete the ritual, but yet
well,
we power on.
Hold on to that thought, Johnny, because in about 2 minutes we'll find out if they do or not.
And did you say Quinn turned up around now, Harry?
Yeah.
I remember a bit of him, but he's kind of useless.
It's the bit with the sword.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but Quinn is here now. He's dressed like Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit.
He did it all for the nookie.
But, like, his character's completely changed now. Before he was
like
quite an angry
dude.
boy.
Yeah.
And now he's just like... It's like he's really fucking pissed. He's just like here for a good time. He's like laughing and stuff.
Hey, it's a big deal for them. He's probably had a few drinks on the way there. 20 minutes down the road. It's not too far.
He's had a few road beers.
Yeah. It's like, let's get fucking crazy. Let's make a blood god. Come on.
Yeah, this is where Deacon promised him he would be a god as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Although, how is that going to happen when the ritual only works for one person?
We don't have time for this.
Well, to be fair, my lovely girlfriend Leash, on her trivia hunt, found out that there were extensive reshoots. So I'm wondering, was this always his character and they just reshot the other bits?
The original film was 2.5 hours long.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And they
that's too
reshot
long.
stuff. You need to cut stuff. Cut
No,
stuff.
they did reshoots, they cut it down.
Yeah, they didn't cut enough.
Yeah, test audiences reacted really badly to the original cut. So they had to cut out another fucking half an hour's worth of what I'm assuming is inane dialogue flitting between scenes.
Look, I don't know if there's any Quinn stans out there, but he didn't need to be in this movie. He didn't add much, and he filled up a lot of time.
He did at the beginning. He was the reason.
He was
Blade
getting
was
sucked
tracking.
off. That's a brilliant character.
Blade was tracking him to get to Frost.
So just have it be
As we've
Deacon, and he
established,
escapes instead.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's immediately. I mean, you would automatically track Deacon.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not fucking in plain view. He's walking through fucking Chinatown with sunblock
He
on.
was in that club at the beginning.
Yeah.
He was there. He is one of the first
He
characters
was
we
behind
see.
Bad Boy Bill.
He is Bad Boy Bill.
Dad Doy Dilkin.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
I don't know what that is. But I'm glad it wasn't me. Oh, so yeah, all the purebloods are lined up. The ritual is very much beginning now. Blade's blood is being pushed through a temple down onto like the 12 slots above the purebloods. It's dripping onto them. At the same time, Karen is releasing Blade, but he's too weak. He's lost, most of his blood. It's all
Hopefully not
dripping through
all
the
of it.
temple.
I don't know, that looked like 6 pints of blood.
It is more of a 6 pints.
It is
filling that temple, yeah. Luckily, he's got nice thick blood.
That scene was quite cool though, where it was all like running across like curved edges into different
Yeah,
tracks
sick.
and stuff. I thought that was quite a nice. I mean, it was a bit long. It didn't need to be. It could have literally just have been fucking 12 pipes and then one little pipe onto Deacon's head. But I don't know. I thought that was quite a nice like plot mechanism for it to like drag out, and this whole bit now. Although
there needs to be a reason.
the
why he
last
can
hour
escape.
has been very slow and it's been interjected by lots of bullshit.
Oh, chat.
But this
yeah.
bit, they're really ramping up with the score and with everything. They're really ramping up like the energy for this fight scene at the end, and I think they do this really well. They're just building momentum very slowly at first, and then it gets faster and faster, and then it turns into this culmination at the end. I think it's good. the
And it's about to kick off, baby, because Blade allows... the Vanessa allows Blade to drink from her. He takes a little
Vanessa?
bit too much.
Who the fuck is
Oh,
Vanessa?
sorry. That's Blade's mum. My apologies. Karen allows Blade to drink from her. He takes a little bit too much because she's a bit woozy going down the stairs in a minute. He definitely takes more than he loses.
This is such a sexually charged scene.
Yeah,
right?
she keeps saying, "Don't stop, don't
Yeah, she's
stop,
like, oh.
don't stop."
No, she's saying
No,
stop.
the subtitles are saying "Don't stop." I thought
Yeah.
she was saying "stop" before, but she's saying "Don't stop."
And
My
Blade's
face is
doing like a
surprised.
Yes.
humping motion as he does it.
And like growling and stuff. It's super sexually charged.
Yeah.
He's just like biting on her neck.
Like I say, it gets horny now.
So it's time the blood's dripping down. He's finally getting his energy back. And just as he does, lightning strikes the top of the temple. It goes through the sarcophagus, which he's just exited, and it hits all of the purebloods downstairs and like preps them for the ritual that's about to take place.
Oof.
And they start turning into skeleton bats, which then fly into Deacon, which I imagine was word for word verbatim of the script. Harry, that is what happens.
No. Bat skeletons climb out of their mouths, Evan.
I thought that was a nice touch. They could have easily have just made them like fly out of their like whole bodies, them like climbing. Although they did use exactly the same animation for every single person.
We're out of money by this. We know we're out of money.
Yeah.
I can't
They've
imagine
used it
what
up.
that extra half an hour looks like if we're out of
They
money
used it
now.
all up on cardboard cutouts. But that like climbing out of the mouth and then like the wings spread, although it is fucking rough and the CGI is bad, like so bad. I thought that was quite a nice idea, but
I'm sorry, boys.
You
I
didn't.
think it was fucking stupid. A skeleton climbing out of a skeleton.
Oh,
Where was that
it's their
extra
souls.
skeleton?
It's their souls leaving.
Why does the soul have a skeleton?
Evan, have you ever seen a human soul, let alone a vampire's?
True.
Yeah.
True. Okay, you're right. It is the bat soul inside a vampire. My bad, guys.
I'm gonna
This
keep
scene
using
did make
that.
me laugh as well. It reminded me of a Simpsons quote where, oh fucking hell, you're gonna have to cut this, Evan. Where Dr. Nick says, "I think you've got bonus eruptus. It's a terrible condition where the skeleton tries to leave your body." And that made me laugh.
Harry, you're lucky that everybody loves The Simpsons. And every podcast I listen to always quotes The Simpsons. So although I do not favour it, I will leave it in for you and for them.
Nearly as much quoted as Always
Please
Sunny
don't.
on this.
Well, Blade does a sick fucking front flip into the temple.
Yes.
He dives about 60 feet to the bottom of this stone temple and just lets himself be known to everyone.
You know, he does that fucking famous blade landing with one leg out with the fucking
The
sword.
3-point land.
Yeah, he does that. But as he jumps, he like puts his like body armor on. He jumps with it all unbuckled, and when he lands, it's fully buckled up and zipped up and clasped. Makes it an even more impressive jump, in my opinion. It's not a continuity error. No. What it is dexterous skills mid-flight. He does like an Assassin's Creed jump off the top floor.
Just a bit of admin on the way down.
Don't worry about this. Zip, click, 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 click.
Zip admin.
And it's a great fucking little shot now because Quinn wants some of them immediately. He's got a tiny enough. You know it's not going to go well for him. But Blade pulls out a steel wire. It's like a piano wire.
Son.
And just flips around and cuts Quinn's head off straight away, which he should have done fucking ages ago. But he's doing it now. And then he murks several other vampires in the room.
Yes.
It is very good. And this is like you were saying when we were off air for a second there, Johnny. He rips out a vampire's throat, throws it in the face of another vampire, kicks him to the side. It's all good stuff. This is a great sequence.
As much as this film has problems, all of the fight scenes are so perfect. They're so fucking good. I think, like we said before, Wesley Snipes having like a pretty extensive background in martial arts helped massively. Otherwise, it would have been really clunky. like stunt doubles doing it, and you would never seen it, and you always kind of know that it's not them doing it, but it's obviously him doing this stuff. It really adds to the film.
There's only one janky bit here, and that's where him and another vampire kick around each other for a few minutes. But it is no worse than the scene in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith where Obi-Wan and Anakin do the same thing with lightsabers. So
I counted it. Do you want to know how many missed kicks there were in that scene?
I love shit like this. Please tell me.
8.
That's too many kicks.
You're a 5th dan martial artist, man. You're a fucking karate black belt. You should be able to kick a man in the head.
I love it. Well, now we're heading straight into he dispatches with all those other vampires, and this is the main fight now. It's Deacon, who is now the blood god. He's absorbed the souls of those other vampires. He's got red eyes, so you know he's changed in some way.
He's got like a smear of blood down one side of his face.
He does.
Now,
looks very cool.
Does him being a blood god make him still him, or has he been possessed by a blood god?
Well, I'm not sure because somebody calls his name. Oh, it's that blonde vampire, Mercury. And I think he says, it's not me. I'm not him anymore.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it seems like there was a cut after that, and whatever scene was supposed to interject that and the fight scene was removed.
So what's in it for Deacon at this point?
I think he wasn't
the
supposed
vampire
to know
race.
This movie originally had a very different ending.
Oh, okay.
I don't think this blood tornado was ever in it. They added it because it wasn't like enough of a big ending.
Right, okay.
So I think it would have been him possessed, and it would have been this double-edged sword where yes, he got the powers, but it's not him anymore. But because this movie absolutely fucking needs to end, it's gonna end now. So him and Blade start to fucking fight it out. Somehow Deacon's got a sword. I don't know if that is part of the blood god deal, but he has a katana too. I don't know where it's.
And we assume that Deacon can also sword fight.
Yeah, but he can. The blood god can at least.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. The blood god can. Blood god can.
Swinging at each other. It's all very cool. They're kicking, they're punching. It's awesome stuff to see, and I cannot fault it.
There is an awful lot of sparks between those swords, which makes me think that one of them is made of flint.
I can fault this scene, Evan. The blood god's blood smear down his face keeps swapping sides.
Does it?
Yeah. Did you not notice this?
No, I didn't.
Mate, I was
noticed this.
so ready for this to be over.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't pause this film once and I was like, look, it's just swapped again.
I don't know how you did that. I stopped after an hour. I was like, that is enough for me. I need to do this another day.
It's too long. Don't
Too
make
much
2-hour
going
films.
on. Yeah. It's those
I say this
scenes.
as someone who's watched Oppenheimer this week. This film was too long.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And we're almost at the end, boys. We're almost there. So they fight it out. Blade, earlier on, Deacon had gotten rid of the serum that Blade had, which is actually the explodey serum. Blade uses his sword to dislodge it from some rocks, and then he just starts ninja starring it at Deacon. I love it. He doesn't even bother trying to dodge them because he thinks it's actually just like the thirst serum rather than the explodey serum. And this guy just fucking explodes.
The way that he jumps towards Blade is like Mac in The Nightman Cometh, where he cat jumps towards him, hands and feet both in the air, and he's just fucking yazzing them at him. The first one hits him, he's like, nah, nothing, don't worry about it. He's staggers a little bit, and then he jumps at him, he's like, pya, 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 pya. And then he lands, and he's all fucking stumbly or whatever, and then Blade just picks up the last one and fucking roundhouses it right into his forehead. I was like, oh my God.
So good.
So sick.
That was a nice addition, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that the fact he doesn't know that it's not the serum, it's the anticoagulant, would suggest, going back to your question earlier, it's still Deacon, right?
Well, or the blood god wouldn't know anyway.
It's not the blood god.
This is a new development. So the blood god wouldn't know anyway, unless he's omnipotent.
Been out of action
he must
for
be.
3,000 years. No, he just does blood.
Yeah.
He's not. He's just, his realm is blood. Unless blood can see it, he can't see it.
Oh, that's type A.
Blood must have ears, though.
Oh,
Blood
negative.
must have heard what was going on.
Blood must
There's
have ears.
blood
is
in
gonna
that
be the
serum,
name
Evan. There's blood
of
in that
this
serum.
Episodes. Blood must have ears. And also, we get the best line in the movie here, which Johnny has referenced a few times throughout. Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. What does that mean? It means nothing. It just sounds kind of like a cool thing to say.
I'll tell you what that means, Evan.
Yeah.
It's while
It means
discussing the
something.
character of Deacon Frost, Wesley Snipes described him as the kind of guy who would ice skate uphill, and the directors loved it so much that they worked it into the film. It doesn't matter that it means nothing. They just liked the phrase and they interjected it. That sounds like someone who's always trying to do the hard way of doing, like,
Yeah.
they're always like...
Yes, yeah, of course. I get that's the context
But
of the quote.
If anything, Deacon was trying to do it the easy way by, rather than...
Becoming a god.
by becoming a god.
I don't know. Is killing Blade the one person who's killing every vampire in this city the easy way?
Well, Blade is the uphill. And I think
Killing him's
Deacon...
the ice skating.
No. We're assuming that becoming a god was the ice skating. Well, it's not. You know, becoming the god was probably just trying to walk or drive up the hill.
Yeah.
But
With snow
trying
chains,
to
obviously.
maybe lie down and roll up the hill would have been... I've become so lost. I don't know what this line means. I'm so mixed in these metaphors.
Sometimes motherfuckers always try to ice skate uphill.
I think I'm trying to ice skate uphill right now.
You are a bit, mate, yeah.
This whole episode has been...
Ice
Oh,
skating.
Lord. Oh, my God. Boys, well, he's dead. He explodes. Blade and Karen go home. Karen is now out of this movie because the only scene we get now is we're just in Russia.
Yeah.
And Blade is there and he kills a vampire.
Which... I also questioned this at the end of the film as to why that's there, but earlier on in the film they talk about how he moves from city to city where he needs to be. So I think this is just him continuing his mission and trying to rid the vampires of the fucking earth. Like, he's just trying to get rid of them. So it's just showing him carrying on what he was doing. He's not been, like, killed or put off by what he's done or seen or fucking killing his mum, which we glazed over. But he murdered his own...
Yeah, he did kill his
he
mum.
murdered his
I forgot about that.
He murdered his own mother.
His mum trying to kiss him overshadowed that so much.
Just stabbed her with a human bone.
Like 4 times.
But she's dead now. But, like, yeah, I think it confused me at first, and I thought about it. I was like, it's just showing that it's the continuation of his mission, quote unquote.
Yeah. Well, it continues for him, but thankfully not for us. And we reach, God, I guess the important question of this podcast. And Johnny, since you recommended this movie, we will ask you first. Johnny, so you think that was good, do you?
Right. Okay, so I did like it.
Oh, no.
I did like it. It definitely had a lot of problems. Mainly the CGI and, like, the pacing of it was very, very weird. The CGI, it was 98, but saying that The Matrix came the year after, so I don't know. They put a lot of money into that, so that's a different fucking animal. But I didn't think the budget Chris Pine was that good, but that could have just been the script. It's I thought he was what he was meant to be, but I don't think he played it. Funnily enough, Mark Wahlberg was also meant to be his character, which I thought would have been fucking terrible, but I don't know. It was a bit cheesy, but that's what these films are kind of all meant to be. The comics are kind of written like that as well, so I think they're kind of, like I said earlier, staying true to the source material. It's all those sort of one-liners where it's like, oh, I'm the most dangerous thing out here, or whatever he fucking says earlier. Wesley Snipes was perfectly fucking written into this. He was very, very, very good. The pacing, like I said, was very weird. It came out of the gate so fucking hot, and I was loving it. And then there was just like...
Big old lull.
Not even... Probably like an hour of...
Yeah.
scenes that could have been compressed into half an hour at the very most. And if they'd shortened it that much, I wouldn't have had to watch this in 2 fucking goes, because it didn't need to be that long. The story doesn't need... It's a man fighting vampires, finds a vampire, they have a plot, he stops the plot, the end. Like, it doesn't need all that middle bit. We don't need all of that lore. But, I don't know. If they'd reduced it more, it would have been really good. Overall, I think I liked it. There were some really cool concepts, and as a jumping off point for the trilogy, it was brilliant. And like I said, it pushed on all of the superhero franchises we know now, which, as much as I hate it currently, it was like important to our fucking childhoods, I'm sure. Like, we wouldn't have got a lot of the films that we love now. So, yeah. It was good. I liked it, but there was definitely a lot of fucking problems with it.
Harry?
It was fine. It was above average.
First time watching it, mate, yeah, so your view here is important.
I wasn't expecting much, to be honest, but it was... I kind of liked it. It was above average. I don't really see what you're saying, Johnny, about the pacing issues. Well, at least I didn't consciously pick up on that.
You don't think it could have been condensed in the middle at all and got rid of all of the chatter and weird scenes where it was jumping between 2 people, and for things that could have just been one independent scene and then another independent scene, rather than 5 little scenes of the same thing?
I can actually measure that for you, because this movie, although just being 2 hours long, it's not a movie I haven't done before, had more plot points than any other movie we've done, because there's just so many little scenes that didn't need to be in there. That's why that fucking spreadsheet was so full of scenes that are so close together, but something kind of different was happening in each one, but not anything notable. But I had to put it in there just in case you had a note about the single line that was in that scene.
What scene?
Any of them. The whole middle hour of the movie.
I mean, I quite enjoyed it. I didn't pick up on that. I was super tired last night when I watched it, so maybe I fell asleep during those scenes. Who knows? I did think you boys have been bigging up the action scenes. They were very well choreographed. But certain bits of them stuck out to me as being a bit shit. Well, the one I can think of in the final fight scene when he's fighting the goons, he crushes someone's head into a wall, but he doesn't. He just very lightly pushes it. And
I mean,
was
it's still a person, so we can't actually crush his head.
There was no camera shake or sound effect or anything. He just went... Urgh!
This was still pretty early doors of all of that kind of stuff, though. This was sort of the inception of this kind of film, the gratuitous superhero violent film. There hadn't really been... There was martial arts films before this, for sure, that did this kind of thing, but that was all very focused on martial arts. And this was the bridge to what we have now, I think.
Well, I don't really like superhero movies now. Well, no, I did like it, though. That's the thing. Another thing in my notes is there were too many sound effects in the fight scenes, despite what I've just said. But every time he punched someone, it was the same effect. It was and I flip-flopped between loving it, this is a funny bit they're doing, and fucking hell, this has gone on a bit long, hasn't it? Find another effect, mate.
Yeah, I get that.
But no, overall, I quite enjoyed it. It's above average. Yeah. Is that the answer you're looking for, Evan?
I guess so. Whatever. The shorter the better at this point. I'm in a middle ground between you both. This isn't as good as I remember, but none of them ever are. When you watch it as a kid, of course, and it's going to be better. There fucking is a good hour that could have been cut out of this movie. That is absolutely right.
A 1 hour film?
Well, it could have been at least an hour and a half. Yeah, no. If it was going to be tight and perfect, it would have been an hour, and they could have shot some better stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and although I really like Whistler, he didn't need to be in this movie. He contributed nothing other than exposition and saving them
fair.
at one point. But he didn't need to be there, and that's a shame because I think Chris Christopherson is great in the role. It's just they didn't write a good enough part for him. Wesley Snipes, yeah, he's cool, he's great, but he clearly loves being this action star, and that's all he kind of was in this. There was no depth beyond Blade being someone who kills
But
vampires.
that's all he
in
needs
this.
to be in this.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's all his character is.
And you're right, but this could have been a 30-minute episode of something if that's the case. If you're going to make a feature-length movie, a character needs more than just killing things.
Yeah, there was no depth to it behind that, I suppose.
Not at all. I didn't even really need Karen, but we needed someone in the movie to be saved and to help them. But they already had someone in the movie who was helping them, who was the guy in the herbalist store. So I'm not sure why they included that when there was also her. They just fired him for her, so that guy's out of the job
He
now.
just loves garlic, mate.
But yeah,
Don't we
I
all?
enjoyed this. This is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It just could have been shorter.
Yeah.
Just could have been so much shorter. I enjoyed all the performances. Let's end this. I'm even tired of myself talking. This episode has gone on too long.
We're at 2.5
We're all
hours
skating
now.
uphill here. Yes, we are. And so,
One thing I
boys,
forgot to say,
please.
just to extend it a bit more, we've gone over how half an hour was already cut out this film.
Yeah.
My lovely girlfriend Leash, factor number 3 from her. Stan Lee originally had a cameo in this.
Yes, he did.
That was cut out.
Yeah, at the beginning.
That's all I know.
No, it's at the beginning. He was one of the policemen that walks into the blood rave. And they cut it out for time, ironically.
As I will with this. Thank you, boys, so much for joining me. And thank you all for listening. Please leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on right now. And follow us over on Twitter and Instagram at So You Think Pod. Join us again next week for 8-Legged Freaks, when hopefully it won't be as long. Goodbye.
Boy!
See ya.